Death! Death? Death? Is that you? Today I'm going to be talking about the German philosophy behind creativity and the movement that got it all started, and also how it continues to influence music to this day. During my genealogy tree project, I was surprised to find that German music was heavily influenced by a philosophical movement that lasted only a decade, starting in 1770, called the Sturm Und Drang movement. Translated into English, it means storm and urge, and the Sturm und Drangers had a heavy focus on emotions and believed dreams to be superior to reason. Roy Pascal, in his article on the movement, advises it was about prioritizing human emotions, the senses and the self, and it also focused on radically undermining the rule of polite society. Sturm und Drang was about following your own idea, your own intuition, and seeing that through, even if it means death. According to Pascal, it also had a recurring theme of misalliance, in other words, an unsuitable, unhappy, or unworkable alliance or marriage. A popular example of this is Goethe's Faust, where Faust sells his soul to the devil. Melvin Bragg, in his podcast discussing the Sturm und Drang movement, said that this was a movement that came out of a reaction to rationalism, which is the practice of basing opinions and actions on reason rather than emotions. Another integral part of Sturm und Drang was to explore themes of humanity that maybe aren't so pretty. Themes like seduction, suicide, abortion, and infanticide, topics that at the time, and still today, are considered quite controversial. Sturm und Drang also explored the absurdity of life, where sometimes the solutions to the situations we get ourselves into can be just as absurd and negative as the situation itself. It's an intellectual movement that says, we don't have the answers, nobody has the answers, so why listen to anyone? Follow yourself. Trust yourself. This appeal to emotion and intuition speaks to me greatly, as I am attending this course based on my own intuition. This notion of the absurdity of humanity you can see reflected well in the performance art of Nina Hagen, a German operatic singer known as the godmother of punk. She breaks all of the conventions of opera singing, dressing in a punk style and doing as she pleases on stage, both of which appeal strongly to me. One of the most enduring concepts from the Sturm und Drang movement is the idea of the original genius. It idolizes the rule breaker. One of the main rule breakers that Sturm und Drang movement championed was in fact Shakespeare. At the time, people either considered him a bad writer or, as Tim Blanning in his podcast says, there were Shakespeare apologists who were like, well, there are some good bits. Sturm und Drang, however, said no, he's brilliant, and he's brilliant because he broke the rules. He did what he wanted in his own way, and in that, they saw an original genius. Cut to now, and we have our own contemporary rule breakers, Rammstein. They invented a new genre, which the music press called New Deutsch Harte, which translates to New German Hardness. It's a crossover style influenced by alternative and groove metal, combining it for the first time with elements from electro, industrial, and techno. Rammstein were also heavily influenced by Goethe, and their recurring themes of death and destruction, put to a sexy dance beat, is emblematic of the contradictory nature of this movement. As Bragg said, a single metaphor or imagery to explain the movement would be the inner light, that the light within us should guide us, and that there is no shame in all aspects of humanity. And you can see that reflected well in Rammstein's music and music videos. Another quite famous German artist who I believe represents the German creative philosophy is Klaus Nomi. He is an opera singer who had heavy theatrics in his performance, and he was not afraid to sing emotional songs, appearing almost otherworldly while singing in a high falsetto. He too broke conventions, combining synth pop with new wave in opera. I think another fun example of the German creativity and the philosophy behind it was satirized by Mike Myers in Saturday Night Live in his skit called Sprockets, in which he plays the host of a music video clip show. And I'm just going to play you a short clip now. So the Sturm und Drang philosophy is about following the light within you. As Susan Cord, a professor of German at the London University College, advises, it's about saying that all of your actions and all of your thoughts should be self-determined, and it influenced greatly the idea that emotions are the guiding force of life. That's what I believe, and that's what I intend to do. Maybe I'll create my own genre, or champion someone that right now is underrated. Whatever the case, I think that emotions are still to this day unappreciated for the guiding force that they are. And a quick reminder that life is short and there's only one you. So I think you should listen to your emotions and let them guide you. Thank you.